Hey everyone, Nick from Millburn here. Nick from Millburn Hall Hoops and Happenings crew. Today is August 11th, 2026. I am joined, as always, by my esteemed panel from Orange, New Jersey, representing Local Talk North, the unofficial mayor of Orange, the one and only Bill Hathaway. Bill, how are you?
How you doing, Nick?
How was first night out last week? We missed you.
Oh, great, great. We got a good crowd. Very good turnout. Very
And
good
then
turnout.
from Yale University, Paul Justafan LaMonica, A. Bartlett Giamatti School, right, Paul?
That's exactly right. Good to talk to you today, Nick.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. And now the first lady of the Booster Club and the first lady of our show, the great Claire McDowell. Claire, how are you, my friend?
I'm exhausted.
Claire, why are you exhausted?
I golfed today and we didn't take a power card, so we did 18 holes starting at 12:45 walking.
Wow.
Wait, what time did you start?
12:45.
And how long did you go?
I finished about 5:15. So
Is that average? I'm not a golfer, so is that a long one?
Yeah, I mean you have to. It was a full course, so you have to wait every now and then. But yeah.
So how'd you shoot? Was it a good day on the golf course for Claire?
Not at all.
Not at all. but more importantly, did you have fun?
I got 18,000 steps in. That's what I did.
What? Wait, so 18 holes is usually 18,000 steps?
No, because most smart people take a power card. Idiots like me decide to walk.
But you're doing it for exercise too, right?
Not that much.
Well, anyway. And did you have do you have like a libation or something after?
Oh, today was water.
No libations. It was hot.
Not today.
and last week we had on, and Bill missed this. We had Ryan Mulvaney on, and it was one of the I think it was one of the best shows we've ever done.
I watched it. I rewatched the show on Sunday night. I watched it.
What do you think about it?
Great show. I thought it was great. It was very impressive. He knows his stuff.
Ryan does know his stuff, and I thought it was great. I thought it was also a little bit niche, and we got a little bit technical with some of the stuff with the NIL, and so we're gonna go in a little bit of a different direction today. So that was more like outside the realm, and we're gonna go now with someone a little bit more inside the realm. And let me bring him on. And Claire was able to get him because this is Claire's nephew, Justin Connors. Justin, welcome.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
Justin.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Justin.
Justin was a manager for St. Peter's under Shaw. He grew up being a Pirate fan. So we just wanted to talk about, Shaw at St. Peter's because, as we all know, Shaw eventually took St. Peter's to an Elite Eight, which is amazing. And so, Justin, how did your journey at St. Peter's start? What got you involved in the basketball program? How did you become a manager? And so you started out when you went to St. Peter's. You were a Seton Hall fan.
Yes, Seton Hall fan still. Always will be. Always have been. But
so how did that happen?
I played basketball at Neptune High School. Played a lot of basketball. So and Shaheen is familiar with the program as well. When I talked to him, Coach O'Donnell had a lot of good success there. But I didn't end up playing in college. And so I went there, and he came to the program, and I know he had to build that program from the ground up when he walked in that door. So I went in there, asked for a job, and was lucky enough to be a part of that team. And they ended the season it was a good season. Everybody was new, a lot of freshmen, 2 seniors. Casey was a junior, he was a leader. But they ended that season with a buzzer beater against Iona in the semifinals going into COVID. Everything got canceled then, and I saw how everybody was so mad. It was a really tough season going into COVID, and those guys were hungry, and they brought that into the next season. So it was cool, really cool to be a part of that team, watch everybody buy in. That was the biggest thing I saw. That was the main reason. A lot of young guys, they played like hockey substitutions, 5 in, 5 out sometimes. It was great.
So how does it? So my son, for full disclosure, my son was a manager for Seton Hall for 4 years with Shaheen and with Ryan Whalen and Coach Willard, of course. How do you, now? I know my son emailed Ryan Whalen, he emailed Willard, and then Willard sent it to Ryan Whalen. He went for an interview with Ryan Whalen. And and they knew my son from going to the games all the time, and like you, he was a big Seton Hall fan. And they kind of talked to him, but basically, I guess what they explained to him was once you start working here, and it's an unpaid job, but nevertheless, it's a job. There's a lot of hours. But they said that your fandom kind of stops now, and you're not a fan anymore. How did that go? Who did you interview with at St. Peter's?
So I went in there, I had a conversation and just started talking to Shaheen and told him that I played basketball. It wasn't a very formal interview process, to be honest. It was I kind of told him, I have family at Seton Hall. I know I appreciate him for coming here and trying to take this program in the right direction. I was in the gym playing basketball, and he was in the gym too, and so it was kind of. He made fun of the shirt I was wearing, not like that. It was joking around. It was a crazy colored shirt. And he's like, as long as you don't wear that shirt, bring some basketball gear and see you tomorrow. And
what was your people don't realize how hard it is to be a manager and how thorough it is. What was your typical day like as a manager, both before this once school started, even before practice started, or what was your day? How did it go?
So my day, it went from being, I was very hands-on when I was there. I was very hands-on when I was there, and I did a lot of things that usual managers might do, like just being involved in the drills. So I was involved in a lot of drills, but camera work. But he treated us like he treated Casey or Quinn or the best players. Like if we're not showing up and bought in just the same as them, you couldn't be a manager. You weren't showing up late. It was like I was a part of the team. And just like if I was doing something that would mess up his practice, it's like, so he was about business when we were there. But a lot of just, making sure they get food afterwards, like picking up the orders, doing all that stuff, recording the practice. But a lot of times I didn't want to be on the camera because he would say, Justin, come here. I'm at center court throwing these guys passes. And I loved being involved like that. I was always a player. I was definitely did well at Neptune High School, played at Wall High School as well, and so I just wanted to be around the game, and that's what I mostly did.
So you said that year had Casey Nadefu and Dougie Baskets, Doug Eddard.
Yeah,
did you know, looking at that team back then with Casey Nadefu, and we just saw him play, and he was very intense. We had Ryan Mulvaney on last week and said actually in the TBT thing they had a scrimmage and Casey got into a fight, and his intensity was even now. Could you just see something in him back then as far as that goes?
1,000%. He had NBA level defense even then. I've never seen a defender. I would play against him. I was lucky enough to play one-on-one with Casey a few times. He for about 2 weeks. Him and Shaw weren't getting along too well, I would say. Not to say too much, but he wanted to play probably the 3 or 4. He's 6'7", 195 pounds. And I was telling him, you're my best defender, and I need you guarding the bigs. I need you down low on offense and defense. And so that became a problem, and Casey was off the court, and he was very good. He wanted to play ball, and that's it. But he was going at it with him a little bit. He ended up coming back, fully buying into Shaw's process, and that wasn't easy. But they needed to go through that 2019-20 season. I got to see them go through some things, and just like all great things that led into that next season.
Well, one thing about the next season I'm a former coach in that, and before I let my colleagues ask some questions, that will live with me forever. And I don't know if you saw it when they made the run. They won a big game, and Doug Eddard hopped on the scorer's table, a la Eric Devendorf, and Shaw was so pissed at him for doing, and you could see the look in Eddard's face, like, oh my God, what did I just do? And you can't. That was real, right? That was 100. So you can't fake and that. Even so was that like the real Shaw? And when you saw that, what did you think?
Yeah. Oh, it was unbelievable. and I would see it every day. I knew it was going in. I knew even when he was a freshman, Doug, Daryl, the twins, they came in with so much confidence. It was like they were playing as juniors their freshman year. And so that's why that I knew that's a lot of them coming in as sophomores the next year, coming off winning a few games in a row, winning on a buzzer beater. Aaron Estrada, very talented guard, was playing great. He ended up leaving the next year and didn't make the tournament season, but he was great on that 2019 season. But seeing they were so close to getting to that tournament, 2 games away, 2019. And so 2020, by the time they were there, that summer they were hungry and they were ready for that moment. It was great to see.
Paul, you have any questions for Justin?
I do. If you guys can hear me, Justin.
Yeah.
As the manager, how much time are you spending in practice, and how much of your duties involve being out doing other things that are not even going on in practice? Did you get involved in like travel arrangements or making sure you talked about food, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so there was a few managers who went on every trip. I didn't go on every trip, but as far as traveling, yeah, they would handle a lot of the traveling stuff. There was a lot of off the court things, and the only thing I say that we weren't involved in is probably just watching film. But besides that, we're living the same life that they, as far as where I'm at every practice, every game, the meetings before they hop on the bus and for traveling. So it was good. I got to really see what that life lives. Besides, they're really doing it. But it was great to be a part of the team. It was awesome.
And what was your best moment as the manager? Was there a time when you pulled something off for the team and they were amazed?
Well, I would say like me and Casey, that was my boy, and he was pissed at a time, man. We talked, and I would say, I was like, Shaw said something about him coming back as a third string center. And it was like a big thing, and he had to really prove a lot. And me and him had a lot of conversations. We got close, and to see him going from, button heads with the coach to them pulling off what they did, and just the journey of it all, that was probably the biggest thing. Seeing Doug go from the kid that nobody knew about to a few 100,000 followers overnight, it was insane. That was early days with the NIL kind of situations. I know you guys talked about that a lot in the last one, but him getting early deals, and that was really cool to see. So yeah, it's awesome.
So Justin, you had talked about Shaw and his technique, and one thing I noticed or I heard, Shaw's real, right? And what you see is what you get, but you also get tough love, right? Like I even you were saying it, like he expects you to do a certain thing, but then if you do it and you're his guy, right? And you're probably his guy like forever, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. That loyalty factor is always there. It's a family environment. Like you said, tough love. Like, sometimes you got to hear it a certain way, but it happens, especially if you both care. If both parties care, then it really works. And he works as hard or probably tries to outwork his players. And I know that for a fact. And I've seen that. So he holds them all to the same standard. So.
Bill, you have a question for Justin?
Yeah, Justin. Good evening. Welcome to our program. I wanted to find out what is the day of the game operation. What is a manager? Because I was a manager in Orange High School, basketball manager, so I know a little bit about it. What in college? What is the day to game operation? What is your responsibility, and what the other managers are?
So
what do you do?
There might be a few that are making sure the locker room is all set up, coming down. There's always making sure they always got Gatorades, making sure everybody has everything they need, is making sure everything is set up so Shaw doesn't have to do as much and all the guys don't have to do as much, just being there, making sure they have everything. It could be being on call is the biggest thing I would say, is being ready for, there's a guy about to suit up and he's like, I don't want to wear, I forgot I should wear these other sneakers, going and running and grabbing them. It's just being on call and being there, making sure they got everything they need.
Was there a time like when Coach Shaheen Holloway made you feel like laughable times and fun times, after a win, and what is his personality in the locker room? As a coach,
he's hyped up. He might feel like he just dropped 30 points sometimes in that after speech, and It's a lot of fun times, and I got to witness a lot of that. The last half of that season, going into the COVID, they were on a roll, and it was great. Everybody was pumped up. Everybody was doing the right thing, and so they were, of course, not celebrating too much. He's not going to over celebrate, that's for sure. But he enjoys the moment. He makes a great atmosphere.
So Justin, let me ask you this. So you guys ended the season that year. You beat Iona, and then you beat Iona again. I guess that was in your conference play?
Yeah, that was in the MAC
in the tournament.
Yeah.
And then the world changed as we know it. Yep. I mean, I remember Seton Hall. My son was at the Garden for Seton Hall for the night before, the Wednesday night. Seton Hall was playing on Thursday, and that game, rumors started going that COVID happened and the game tomorrow was going to be limited. So they played the first game, it got to halftime, and the world stopped. Everything canceled. So how was that? How did you guys find out about that? Like, how did Shaw call you together? Did you just see it on, how did that? Because that's history, right? That's like something you'll never forget.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate because, in his head, he had a tourney run on his mind right then and there, everybody from St. Peter's it was devastating. We all got in practice. He told everybody that they're shutting down and we won't be playing any more games. And everybody's looking around like, we just had a buzzer beater. We're going. We win 2 more games and we get to the tournament. And so it was it was a lot of shock. It was a lot of disappointment on the end of that season. But he didn't let them. That was big of him to not let them get disappointed. To tell them, we're gonna stick this thing out. We're gonna figure it out. And you guys saw when we came together, you see what we could do. And they showed that, didn't get to continue the season, and they believed. I really know that. That was the biggest thing for the next season. They had it. It was right there. It kind of got taken by the whole COVID situation. But they knew in their mind what they could have done that year. And it works out how it works out because Doug and those guys were sophomores. I think Doug could have easily hit those shots his freshman year too, though, to be honest. But as sophomores, they came in and they all got the job done. Matthew played great. Matthew Lee was a huge part of that team. Daryl Banks, Casey, the twins. The twins might have only averaged Drame, Hassan and Fusini Drame. The Drame twins. They were great. They might only average 5 points, but what they did on defense and having 2, 6, 7 guys being able to sub in and out for each other, it was great. And Shaw coached that perfectly, using those guys. It was good.
Claire, I'm sure you have some questions for Justin.
How's the baby?
The baby's
Justin's
good. Baby's
dad.
good.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh my God.
He had baby Carter came in on April 11th.
Wow.
So, and as soon as he found out it was a boy, he starts talking about, okay, so he's going to play basketball.
Oh my God.
Play some ball.
Oh my God.
So this is Carter. Say hi. 4 months today.
Wow.
April 11th, so 4 months today.
Wow.
Can easily say the youngest guest we've ever had on our show. Hi.
What's up, buddy? Oh, he just got up. He's probably hungry. Oh, I appreciate you guys having me, though.
Thank you, Justin.
Guys. It was great.
Well, have
Claire, any last question for Justin?
Yeah,
Claire?
for sure.
No. I'll see you sometime soon. We get together pretty often, so.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, Claire, for inviting me too. I appreciate you guys for having me.
No, Justin, you were great. Thank you so much, and we would love to have you on again.
Anytime.
Good luck.
Definitely. Anytime.
Good luck with the baby.
And good luck. Good luck. How's the baby? How's the baby sleeping at night?
Oh, he's sleeping a little better. This week has been our best week, so we're hoping to stick with that. He's sleeping a little 8:30 to 5 or 6, which, I'll take that. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, baby steps. No pun intended, but baby.
Baby steps, exactly.
Take care, Justin. Thank you so
Take
much.
care, Justin. Good luck.
See you, honey.
Oh,
Nice.
He was great. That was great. Oh my God, that
Right
was a
on
nice
time.
surprise at the end. That was really good.
I didn't realize he had the baby right there. I thought I heard the cooing in the background, but
So let's start. Paul, any recap or any follow-up you want to do on Ryan last week? And anything that Ryan touched on that you just think we need to get into or?
Well, we can't, I don't know that we can get into it now because we haven't figured out how it all shakes out. But I don't think that we've seen any major player movement as a result of the judge the judge's ruling in Colorado. I think that North Carolina stole a center from South Dakota State, and I know that we're still waiting on whether or not there are any players that we might pull on, but I don't think there's been any new signings. So Ryan was great in talking about the role of the NCAA and player agents, but as far as that ruling is concerned, it seems like it was much ado about nothing. We haven't seen a lot of, Dylan Mitchell of St. John's. I think Patino was trying to talk him out of his Celtics contract. That didn't end up going anywhere. So after all the hype and hullabaloo, it turns out that we haven't really seen any major changes in rosters. Certainly not at Seton Hall, and I haven't heard a lot on the rest of the Big East.
And why do you think that? Do you think that's because weren't a lot of spots available, or do you think it's because the NCAA has since issued something, right, telling their members, guys, don't sign anybody, right? Like Danny Hurley came out and said, this is ridiculous, don't sign anybody. So is that it, or is it just everybody's just waiting to see how it goes? What do you think?
So I think that a lot of it is a lot of the guys that you would want made a decision to go play in the pros. Right, Dylan Mitchell was one of them. The second thing was that you had to have had the foresight of putting your name in the portal without any eligibility.
Right.
And we know that there's a much smaller number of players who did that than players who have eligibility left. And so I think the player pool was a lot smaller than we thought it was going to be. And then third, you need an open roster spot, and you need to be able to commit to an open roster spot and then turn around and deal with the NCAA saying we're going to appeal and change this. The smaller number of players combined with the smaller number of roster spots, it all kind of worked together. And I think that's kind of the way it resulted. And I think it's unfortunate because, a whole bunch of players, had this ruling come down in March, I think we would have seen a much larger set of seniors entering the portal, and
right.
We would have seen a lot, those kids would have really gotten an opportunity to play one more year. As it is, they basically got something handed to them when there's anything for them to do with it.
But here's the thing, and we went over this last week with Ryan. You could still, whether you're in the portal or not, go back to your old school if there's if there's a roster opening, correct?
That's correct. But again, there needed to be a roster open.
Right.
And we needed to have, I think, like we have Stefan Payne, to me, seems to be a very good fit. Because we, with Nwali from Rutgers not coming, we have a spot for a big man. And we know how good Stefan Payne is and how well he could fit into the program. We saw it last year.
Yeah.
So I've been hoping that was going to be an announcement. But, for the rest of it, you decided, hey, I'm done with college. I'm going on to the next thing. And you spent however much time working with your agents trying to get a European position or get invited to a NBA Summer League team or something like that. And then after all of that, with a whole new roster, somebody says, hey, you could go back to Seton Hall if you want. Right? Stefan Payne will be going back to a team where the only guy he knows is straight. Right?
But,
the entire roster
but Stefan Payne was, not to interrupt you, but Stefan Payne was already in the portal. He could go wherever he wants.
He can. But
he can. I don't know if there's interest. Yeah. And then Elijah Fisher is also in the portal. They had the foresight to go in there. Elijah Fisher can go wherever he wants. And Juan Rivera is in the portal. And Juan Rivera did go wherever he wants because today we found out Juan Rivera is going to Tennessee State, which you know, who knows, right?
I mean, that's a fascinating basketball journey Juan Rivera went on when you think about it. Josh Rivera, right? He went from
Josh Rivera. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he went from Fordham to, I think, from Lafayette to Fordham to Seton Hall to Tennessee State. Wow, that's a very interesting basketball journey.
And he was getting good quality minutes last year, right? He was contributing to one of the Seton Hall, one of the best basketball conferences in America. Claire, what did you think about Josh? Were you surprised that he went to Tennessee State? I mean, no knock against Tennessee State, but
I can't wrap my head around any of it because everybody was just like going off in different directions. Like, wait a second, why are you leaving? They were doing so well last year and they were really gelling, and then it's the Wild Wild West. I mean, yeah.
No, great point. It is the Wild Wild West, really. There's no rules. Yeah. And what I found really interesting, and Claire, you might want to comment on it, is Ryan said, I was under the impression there was only 1-year deals. Ryan said if you signed a revenue, and he called it revenue share packages, you could do a 2-year deal or a multiple. Did that surprise you?
I was hoping they would be moving in that direction because, I mean, the 1 year, just everybody one and done and just floating back and forth and who's going bing, bang, boom. I'd love to see them do multi-year deals. It would give some stability to the programs, you know?
And yet it was the programs, according to Ryan, right? Paul's nodding, right? That didn't want it, not the play. Did you find that weird, Paul?
When he said it, I was surprised, but then I thought about it and realized it makes sense. You know, think about, we go to Merrimack last year and get a 5'10" point guard. You know, we don't know how good he's going to be, how well he's going to fit into the Big East. So I could see Seton Hall saying we can't afford to make a mistake and commit to a guy for 2 years, including the money, when in fact we don't know how well he's going to be playing this league and how good he's going to be. So in retrospect, that seemed to make sense. And to be honest with you, Nick, I think that Seton Hall has decided that this is how they're going to do business, that they are going to reassemble their team every year. They're not going to try to retain too many players. They're going to bring guys in, hopefully develop them. When they get to March, they're going to have a bunch of guys who could make a lot more money than they could at Seton Hall, which means that they've developed and gotten a lot better while they were at Seton Hall, which is good for us. And then they're going to start over every year. And I think if 4 out of every 5 years we have a team that's competing for an NCAA bid, if you're redoing the team over, I think we're going to have to be satisfied with that.
So, Claire, do you think that, before I go to Bill, Claire, you think that's the future of this? Again, we've said it before. And I think Ryan even said it. You're going to root for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name. Yep. And Claire, you're like me. You want to see these kids, like Dougie Etter, Casey Nadefu. You want to see these kids grow and succeed and get better every year. And doesn't sound like it's going to happen as much, right?
I think as things are changing, I think they may start considering it because, look, nobody wanted to see Bud Clark go. And nobody was expecting to see Bud go. And they're probably going, woulda, coulda, shoulda had a 2-year deal with him, you know, because they were really hoping to retain him. And I think he was the shocker of the year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Bill, do you want, 2 questions for Bill. Do you want Stephon Payne back if possible? Everything being equal, do you want to see Stephon Payne back?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I would love to see him back in the Seton Hall uniform. He's one of the key players. He can, you know, come to games, make some transition baskets. Yeah, I think I would love to see Stephon back with the program because, you know, it marvelates that, you know, when a head coach like Shaheen Holloway. It's, I totally agree to this. Like what Paul was saying, like every single year that Shaheen Holloway, since he signed his new contract, has to put it together a new team every year. I mean, it's good to retain players, but a Stephon Payne, absolutely. I would bring him back. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, Josh Rivera, he was one of the key players last year. He went to Tennessee State. We lost him, but next man up. That's what I would say. Next man up. If it's not Stephon Payne, it's somebody else.
Well, that's a good point because, like Paul said, Chris Nuwali from Rutgers has some family issues, and and you have to take care of your family first, and that's what he's doing right now. So he's not going to play this year. Nathan Mariano is having some pro issues, Paul, right? And Paul touched on it. They don't know. Shaw said every time he talks to the NCAA, Seton Hall's told to do something else, and then they're told to do something else after that. So right now, Paul, how many openings do we have? Just one?
Two.
I think that with Nuwali we had two.
Yeah.
So So we had one, and then Nuwali made two.
That's right.
Okay.
Two.
So yeah. So I mean, with Nuwali, like you guys said, Payne would be a perfect fit, right? Because he knows the program. He contributed last year.
Yeah, I mean,
he might not have to do as much, right? Because of the players that we have now, with the new guys coming in, with Copeland and Williams. So I don't know. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? I haven't heard too much. I heard he's, interested. First, he's interested in going back to school and playing, and that him and Seton Hall have had some discussions. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. But
Nick, I just wanted to throw out one more thing that Ryan said. Claire asked him a great question, which is, do you think that with all this player movement, we're going to continue to see the sport be financially healthy?
Right.
And Ryan's response was, as long as teams win, people are going to go to games. Yeah. And I think that that's true, but I think that it's also a little bit short-sighted on behalf of the teams, because somebody like Claire, who falls in love with freshmen, she'll go see a.
That sounded bad.
I'm sorry.
That sounded bad.
No, I mean, you fall in love with these kids, she'll go and see a 15 and 13 team if it has a bunch of kids that she really likes and have watched play. There are other reasons behind wins and losses to support a college team, right? I love the women on the women's team. I want to go see them play games.
Savannah, we all love Savannah Catalan, right? We adore Savannah Catalan.
I love the freshmen. I think that they're just a lot of fun, and I want to go watch them play basketball as much as I want them to win because they want to win. I'm not going to be angry as a fan if they get beat in a close game. I'm going to cheer for them because they seem to be great kids. So I think the universities are doing themselves something of a disservice if we end up depersonalizing the team. And when you say we're cheering for the name on the front of the jersey, not the back of the jersey, you're saying we don't really care as much about who's in the uniform. And I think caring about who's in the uniform is one of the big reasons people go to college games. So I think there's a little bit of short-sightedness on behalf of the NCAA if they don't do something to try to keep kids and have them develop relationships with their school and with the fans and the alumni.
So as far as keeping kids and getting kids and staff, our new GM, Nelson Hernandez, retweeted something that came from Nebraska football, and Nebraska football is modeling their program. Not that we're going to be Nebraska football, but the point is things that we were talking about from day one. They have 13 front office staff, 13 and then they have 4 remote scouts who have read 1,000 scouting reports, right? Because with the portal, you have to kind of scout everybody. So we had said early on that, the assistant coaches and the coaches, we were talking about the Yankees farm system with the scouting department and the analytics department. And I know UConn got to the point where they were farming a lot of this out, but there's just so many companies. Can you see the point, Paul? And I know Seton Hall maybe doesn't have the money right now, but again, we got the money to get the GM. We got the money to up supposedly the word out there is that our NFL budget is up to $10 million and in that range, which is enough to be competitive in the Big East, even though you'd like more. But for Seton Hall, You see Seton Hall following that now and getting a full-blown scouting department and analytics department and, things that you need now. Because it's shifting. Look, if you're paying people, it is shifting into a pro sports team, right? And that's what I remember a few years back when people said, somebody yelled at me on Hall Line because I said Seton Hall needs to hire a GM. Oh, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. Well, now everybody has a GM. So Paul, what do you think the next logical step is?
So I don't know whether we're going to come up with a front office the size of the University of Nebraska's football, as you pointed out. But think about what the jobs are. Okay, you need somebody who can negotiate successfully with these agents and street agents and cut deals that maintain the NIL budget so you can get as many players as possible. Shaheen Holloway is a great defensive coach. I don't know how good he is at contract management. I mean, that's not necessarily a skill that you learn. You need someone who knows that.
Right.
You need somebody who knows how to scout the mid-majors. You need somebody who knows how to scout internationally. Those are two different jobs, and I cannot imagine that Coach Holloway is going to have the time to be watching the Brazilian basketball league. Right? So you need someone to be able to do that. Yeah, we're going to need more of a staff around procuring players. We're going to need more of a staff around negotiating and managing the money, and we're going to need a bigger staff around fundraising. If this program is going to be successful in a conference where I am sure that St. John's and Villanova and UConn are already doing this, right? These are the dogs that are in our conference, and if we want to run with these dogs, we've got to be able to play.
Claire, your thoughts on that? On just the future of this now. And I mean, going back in the day when you and I fell in love with Seton Hall, it was Bill Raftery, Hadi Mahan, and maybe one other assistant, and that was basically it. It was a trainer, Ed Coppola, and Mr. Reagan was the athletic director, Mr. Menza was the trainer, was the ticket manager. Yeah, now it's something else,
business. Right? It's like a big business now. I mean, you need all these administrators. Where before you just had a coach and an assistant coach,
right?
And now it's crazy. Who could have predicted?
Bill, what do you think about the future and how the model what do you see the college model being even 2-3 years from now?
I see the college. I think Seton Hall is up and coming. I think their university, regardless of how much money they have traditionally, old school stuff, like fundraising. Like Claire's association with the Booster Club, I think it's up and coming. Even though it's a small college, but there's a lot of small colleges. But Seton Hall probably doesn't have a bigger budget, like NIL budget, than St. John's or Connecticut. But I see that the university and its alumni, they raise money, trips. And I think it's ongoing scale for support. The big TBT event at Seton Hall was a success. They brought in a lot of fans. A lot of alumni came back. I think it was good. I mean, I see Seton Hall 2-3 years down the line competing with more bigger schools like the Connecticut or St. John's or, whatever. I mean, you got to give where it is, even though it's a small school on South Orange Avenue, but they got a little money in their little bank.
400 South Orange Avenue.
Yeah.
Paul, where do you think we're going to be able to compete, and what strategy, if you were in charge of this whole thing, what would be your strategy to try to compete?
Well, I think that so far we've had success finding the mid-major players that can develop into something great. I would continue to do that. Also, I think we do need somebody to figure out how to manage the money. That's going to be a big part of it going forward. And I think if we do those two things well, I don't know that we're necessarily going to be able to have an international presence. I don't know that the university, Patino can recruit well overseas because Patino coached over there. He knows the people that he's trying. He knows those people. I don't know that we're going to be in a position to do that, but that would be my strategy. And I would also try to cultivate relationships with coaches that could help try to steer players to the hall. And even maybe money needs to change hands. Where there are certain programs that feed into Seton Hall. Ryan mentioned that last week as well. I think he was thinking about it as I'm the mid-major, and if you go here, you're going to go play someplace in the Big Ten or the SEC. I'm thinking it would be nice for Seton Hall to say, we've got these 4 or 5 programs. We're going to work with them to recruit kids, and hopefully we'll be taking their sophomores and juniors for 2 years to have them come over and play in South Orange. That would be my hope.
Now, segueing into that, as far as, staffing and everything, we lost an assistant coach this week, and I had posted it. I took it off of someone on Twitter. I think it was Rothstein. I took it from Rothstein on Twitter and put it on Facebook page. And I think the first 5 people who read it wrong. And it's like, oh my God, we're losing Shaw. No, we're not losing Shaw. Coach Lowry, Corey Lowry, is going to Texas Southern as their head basketball coach. So congratulations to Coach Lowry. It's a huge, the first college head coaching job is huge. Another Seton Hall assistant with the head coaching job. Grant Billmeyer's out there. Of course, Danny's out there. One who used to be out there, Donald Copeland, is now I'm hearing, I haven't heard too many names because it's just happened, but you always hear names. I don't know how true it is. Donald Copeland may be interested in coming back to his old job at Seton Hall as an assistant coach. Claire, your thoughts on losing the coach? I mean, school's going to start wherever he's going right now. School's going to start in a few weeks, 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him. But it's the natural progression of things. They needed a coach, and this is a great opportunity for him to take a head coach position. So, the first year is always takes a few, getting the bugs out and everything, getting used to the new situation. Being in charge, that's, instead of being second or third in charge, all of a sudden you're responsible for the whole
it's
thing.
huge. When you move a few feet down the bench, it's huge. When now everyone's looking at you, it's totally different. But if you were ever going to get prepared, I mean, working for Shaheen Holloway and his work ethic and building relationships with his players and things like that, I think this is a great place. And it has been, to feeding college coaches. Paul, what do you think about Coach Lowry leaving?
Well, my first question is he going to have any players when he gets to Texas Southern? Right. I mean, and I'm not just trying to be cynical. He hasn't had a chance to recruit. Texas Southern as a mid-major, I'm sure that the best of the kids that were on that team have gotten deals to go to places that are a little bit higher up. I don't know what his roster's like, but I'd be fascinated to find out, who's even on his team. Because as Claire pointed out, it's hard enough to walk into a program on August when you have a full team that somebody else has recruited, and at least you had an idea of how they were going to play. To walk in and have 6 guys, that's going to be, next to impossible to be successful.
Well, speaking of that, and I want to keep an eye on this, right? Because, and Paul, you had said that nobody was really there's not a lot of movement with the transfer portal and, the late entrance, but LSU made Shaquille O'Neal, LSU. I mean, Chris Jackson, LSU. Pete Maravich, LSU. Right now, Will Wade at LSU has 4 players, 5 coaches, and 11 people on his support staff. Hello, 4 players. So I don't know what Will Wade, and we got to keep an eye on this. This was as of August 6th, so maybe he has 5 players. I don't know. And I don't know how they could you imagine Seton Hall right now only having 4 players? They'd be storming 400 South Orange. Oh my God, 4 players.
Well, plus you're at LSU. You got Kentucky, you got Arkansas, you got Alabama, you got Florida. You know, again, as much as I can't stand that conference, that's the toughest basketball conference in the country these days. And you're going to go in with half a team? That's insane.
And Coach Wade said last year, it's not hard. Teams with the better players win. You can't have the better players because you don't even have enough players to field the team right now, Coach.
Wow.
Crazy.
Can they take a sabbatical year?
Right. Like, I know, right? So I don't know if they have like something coming in from like I'm going to do a little bit more research on it before the show next week. But yeah, that's the strangest thing that I've heard.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Now, the Big East Conference has a new commissioner, and Tim Brosnan. He comes from Major League Baseball. He's been with MLB for 24 years. He succeeds Commissioner Val Ackerman. He's a Georgetown grad. At one point, he was an MLB finalist to be their commissioner. So this is a big deal right now. And let me just do my thoughts before I get to you guys. I thought, Val Ackerman did a good job at the beginning, but I think she kind of, I don't know what the word is, but at the end, when we didn't make the NCAA tournament, and Danny Hurley is advocating for us louder than Commissioner Ackerman, come on. Right, Claire. What are your thoughts on Val Ackerman and Tim Brosnan replacing Miss Ackerman?
Well, I don't know too much about him other than what you just said, but yeah, she dropped the ball. When you saw Danny get up and say Seton Hall beat us and didn't make the tournament, and they knew they were going pretty far. It was great to see him stick up for Seton Hall because he is a Pirate. So, but he's been very vocal in this last week with all the changes and everything. I was reading his comments today because I've been on the run all weekend, and he said it's frustrating, and I can see that it's frustrating for them. It's frustrating for the players. Can you imagine being an 18-year-old senior in high school, and now, there's going to be 5 years of players to compete against? Yeah. So it's crazy.
Well, your nephew, what he said is he could look at that team and saw that they had a future down the road. You can't honestly say that anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because let's go back. If this was the NIL, those kids none of them would have stayed.
Yeah.
Right?
And he was saying that the one thing he really appreciated was watching how they all bought into Shaheen's plans.
Right.
Like they all committed, and that was it. And then the next year they made the big run to the Elite Eight. So,
Bill, what do you think do you think that when we didn't make the tournament 2 years ago, do you think, or 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we weren't any good, but 3 years ago, right? I guess. but do you think that was a highway robbery when and then Commissioner Ackerman seemed like she didn't fight for us, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to rant a little bit. I'm glad you said that, Nick, because, Ackerman threw Seton Hall under the bus. Here's Shaheen Holloway had a great season, and now we're not advocating for a Big East school like Seton Hall. So I don't know what the problem was with her. Leadership skills or whatever. Come on now. Seton Hall, they deserved it. Shaheen Holloway and his coaching staff worked hard. What are we getting here, Nick? NCAA, they were that was his goal to get in the NCAA, and all of a sudden the 92 bus comes down Lincoln Avenue, and right under the bus is Seton Hall. That's it. I'm sorry.
Phil, say
I'm
what
sorry.
you feel.
I'm sorry.
The following statement was that of William Hathaway and are not
Yeah,
reflected.
absolutely. Go ahead.
Bobby Black
Listen.
Sacurente.
They just threw the hall right under the bus.
Paul, what are your
That's
thoughts?
how it is, man. That's how
Well,
it
you're
is.
a big baseball guy, so and you know, and we were talking about A. Bartlett Giamatti. So someone coming from is it a step down from Major League Baseball to the Big East? Like,
So first of all, Bill, we missed you last week. That's the first thing. So I'm gonna quote what I'm gonna
Here's the problem that I had. The problem I had is that Seton Hall. I mean, they should have been in NCAA tournament. I mean, come on, with their record. I mean, come on. It's a no brainer. No brainer. I'll let you have the floor, Paul.
So I'm going to quote two of our guests. I'm going to quote both Ryan and Jerry Carino. Okay. When we asked him about Val Ackerman, and we asked him the same question, he said, Val Ackerman's job is to get as much TV money as possible for the conference.
right.
And so, you know, maybe there was more she could have done to advocate for the Hall and advocate for other Big East teams making the tournament. But the real job is to sign those TV contracts. And I don't think Val Ackerman did a great job. As much as Seton Hall was on, as we said, 2 games on Peacock, 3 games on Fox, 1 game over here, 1 game over there. When I was writing the previews, I always had to add which cable channel we were going to be on that night because the Big East had so many different contracts with so many different providers. So the first thing I'd like to see Brosnan do is get our TV contracts normalized to where we're always on the same channel, where people can find us. And with that, hopefully comes more money because now the Big East is a commodity. Rather than, you know, selling every possible game, you know, to, you know, oh, here's a game, we're going to put it on channel 28, you know, and like in the olden days. So that's the first thing I'd like to see as an improvement. I think anybody who's been working at Major League Baseball is going to understand the ins and outs of negotiating with cable company, with the big cable sports channels. That was the first thing. The other thing that Ryan said was when we started to talk about the mid-majors, and Ryan said that they have to figure out a way to band together and define a role for themselves. The Big East, the Atlantic 10, and Gonzaga's conference, which I think is the West Coast Conference, are unique in college sports because they are good. Their teams are good enough to win national championships in basketball, but they don't have football at all. Right? Every other school, either you're big time football, big time basketball, or you're FCF football and your mid-major in basketball, except for the Big East and the I think the A10 to a lesser degree, and I think Gonzaga's conference is like that. And I would like to see Brosnan and those 2 other conference commissioners sit down with the NCAA basketball selection committee, as Bill said, and say, you know what? The days of throwing us under the bus for Ohio State and Alabama are over. You just expanded the NCAA tournament. You're not going to have 16 Southeastern Conference teams and 18 Big Ten teams in this thing. We have some pull. We have, for basketball, some of the biggest media markets in the country. And when St. John's is good, all of New York watches. And when Villanova is good, all of Philadelphia watches. So this stuff better stop. And if not, we may band together, us 3 conferences, and go and sign our own TV contract. And, you know, and then you don't have to worry about the money that we're going to bring in from New York and from the West Coast and from Philadelphia and Washington and some of the other big cities on the East Coast. So that's what I would like to see. You know, a definition of the big time non-football schools and advocacy for their roles and an improvement of our TV contract so that I don't have to go clicking my way through 15 streaming services
Exactly.
to figure out how to watch us.
Now you look at the Big East Conference, right? You can say that UConn is one of the top 5 programs in the country, right? If not the number 1 program in the country over the last few years. St. John's, with our friend the Vitamin Water guy, is a juggernaut. So, Villanova with Willard is Villanova. And then you have Providence, Seton Hall, Creighton, solid schools, Georgetown with a great history. So one thing that soon to be on September 1st, Commissioner Brosnan said that he wants to make the Big East tournament more event-centric. Now, I'm not 100% sure what that means because the Big East tournament sells out every game. And the Thursday of the Big East tournament is one of my greatest days of the year. It's my St. Patrick's Day, New Year's Eve. And I kid you not, the mayor, Christina, and I had an 8 o'clock train out of Millburn. We're in New York at 9 o'clock. At 9:30, I may or may not have had my first adult beverage. And then we play. And it was just a great day. And, and a lot of times I'll stay for the night game. What's event-centric? Does he want to, Claire, what do you think he was getting at? Does he want to, like a fan, like WWE style fan fest, or what? I didn't get that so much because there's just so much you can do, right? Because everyone's in there anyway, partying and having a good time. Like, I don't know. What do you think that means?
I think they'll set up a boxing ring in the center and throw all the mascots in and do a WWE.
I mean, do you think they're gonna like close the plaza at the Garden, like close something? But I mean, it is winter time, so you never. I mean, I think it would be a great idea, but
yeah, I don't know where he's going with that. I mean, more hype. I mean, just more promotion. We see those commercials every year, just where they start showing all the teams and want to expand it out of the New York market. I
was afraid of that, but the Garden's kind of its home.
It's
Paul, what do you think? The only thing I was thinking of is making it more of an event. So those who aren't there, it kind of like must-see TV. Is that what you think he wants? His angle is, and that plays into what you said about the TV contracts.
So to me, the Big East tournament already is event-centric.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about this. My dad, who is 87, hosted first of all, he and his teacher friends went to the first day of the Big East tournament, the double header day, so often that his principal pointed it out at his retirement. When he retired, his principal brought his attendance sheet asking how come he was sick on the second Thursday in March every year.
Wow.
He didn't quite understand it. And after that, my dad had a big party at his house where his friends would come over and they would watch the games all afternoon, all evening. The Jacob Javits Center is right down the street from from Madison Square Garden. Maybe he's imagining a fan festival to go on, on the afternoon of the Friday. That we have the semifinal doubleheaders Friday night. Maybe there's a fan festival during the day, where old players come back, autographs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. And again, the Javits Center is close enough to Madison Square Garden that it would be a good place to host such an event. But again, I'm not quite sure you could make the Big East tournament a bigger event than it already is.
The other thing is people come in from all the schools, right? So you have everybody there and they're doing their thing in the city. Like one bar might be a Marquette bar. I know Mustang Harry's the Marquette bar. So my reluctance to my friend Niles over there. But I don't know, Bill, you go every year. How do you make the Big East tournament better?
I mean, you make it better like I kind of agree, like a fan fest. Like 1 year they had the NBA All-Star game in New York City a long time ago. I think it's more credible to the fans because I think it'll draw a lot of attention. Even though these games are on Peacock, they're on Netflix. The streaming services are going crazy right now. Like they just announced the NBA schedule coming out. I mean, there's Peacock, Netflix. You got the Field of Dreams game on Thursday night on Netflix. I mean, I mean, the Big East tournament belongs at Madison Square Garden because it's been there.
Right.
It's home. I think it'll bring more attention if a fan fest occurs and more people to the Garden and more attention to the Big East. It's a possibility.
So,
But I would go too and support it too.
Well, you go any year. You go anyway. So,
Yep.
And hopefully you'll be able to get back on the trains this year, next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
No.
was a little bit of a mess last year. As we're doing the show, your train's going by, and we're like, Bill, get off the air. Your train's here. North Carolina.
There
My
he
buddy.
is.
Guys, I'm late. Sorry, apologize. Just
That's okay.
Hectic Tuesday here in North Carolina.
Well, Coach, let me just say this.
Yep.
We love you. For 6 months, you've been saying, we need to get an agent on. We need to get an agent on. Well, who did we have on last week, Bill?
The agent.
We had an agent, and he couldn't have been any better. So
we interviewed the agent too. Me and Nick at Keaton Hall. Me and Nick interviewed the agent too.
Yeah, and
along
he
with
was great,
Felicia.
Tom. But the things that I got out of it with him, and I don't know if you saw it, is he was an advocate for the players. And he feels that in all this, that a lot of them are being represented by not so scrupulous official agents who are charging them 20. Did he say 20%?
20%, yes.
Yep.
And he said what he charges, and I almost fell off my chair. He charges an hourly rate.
Wow.
And I thought that was, I mean, really good, right? And a guy on the street charging 20% or a professional attorney who knows his stuff, an hourly rate. I mean, come on. So what do you think about I don't know, the NIL, Tom? And did you see the show or any thoughts on it? Or
no. The good thing here, focusing on Seton Hall and we still have 2 open spots?
Claire.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we were saying before with Nawali going. Yeah.
Do we have any idea what the outstanding budget might be to acquire 2 more good players?
Well, whatever we paid Nawali, right? So whatever that is, our budget's supposedly 10 million, and we had 10 players, so average $1 million, I guess, right? Like, yeah.
So there's several players out there that I just was talking at lunch the other day with the kid who played center for NC State, and he got his 5th year.
Wow.
And he's playing overseas right now. And he'd like to come back to State. State don't want him. But his stock value is worth a lot more. So because of that extra year and those players that are, that could contribute to an organization or program, they're going to get money for sure. When you said 20%, that is crazy. I've got to talk to my friend who does it with the NFL players to see what he charges. But for the kids, that's crazy. I love the idea of going with an hourly rate there, or some type of fee, and then go with an hourly rate. But that seems to be kind of a one-off where all the agents here are getting their 20% because they know if they get them $1 million, they're going to get 20%. And that's one of the problems with these kids that are, signing contracts. They don't realize you got taxes to pay.
Yeah.
Oh, and here I was talking to my friend from New Mexico. So the kids don't get paid up front. It's paid throughout the school year.
Right.
So I don't know, one of their players that was leaving, they're like, well, unfortunately, we pay you quarterly, and you're not going to get paid that. So I like that the colleges do that to make sure that, they're protecting themselves on that. But let's see who we're going to get. I'd love to see if we can get one big guy and one guy that just shoots threes. That is just a 38, 40% three-point shooter. I don't care if he plays defense. We just need somebody that can come off the bench and hit threes. And obviously we need some help on the inside. So as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're under 85 days until the season starts.
Less than 3 months.
Less than 3 months. So the reason why, Dukes and NC State, they're all having their, because I live here, that's all I see on TV is their workouts, the players that are coming in. And Duke just picked up another a big 7-footer because of that extra money that they had. So we need to do the same thing. I'm just hoping that, we're not just sitting on our hands and not being aggressive here.
Tom, was the kid from North Carolina State, was he declared for the portal? Did he have the
he asked, yes, he did. He asked the NCC, he appealed the NCAA. They shot him down early. So he went, okay, well, I'm going to go overseas. Well, now he's back in the picture, and I don't know who he's going to sign with, but NC State told him, nah, we don't need you.
They might not have a spot.
I don't think they do.
Right.
But Duke just signed a 7-footer 2 days ago.
Well, one question I asked Ryan, I said, Ryan, a lot of these schools don't have spots, but if someone comes available and they really want them,
yeah.
And Ryan said to me, he goes, Nick, not if I negotiated the kid's contract. So I don't know.
I asked my friend who coaches, he's in town at New Mexico. They're trying to get a big guy from UC San Diego. I said, what happens there? He goes, well, the guy, we have 2 big guys, but we really want this guy. I go, so one of them is going to be let go. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, we'll pay him, between now and the quarter, but he's not going to get the money. So yeah, they can cut him. They can cut him like that.
Wow.
They can. And he's telling me they're probably, if he makes a decision to come to New Mexico, yeah, they're going to drop that one kid. And I'm like, wow, geez. Okay. That's another thing.
That's rough.
It is. Yeah.
Tom, when you see your friend, if you want to ask him, because another point that Ryan made was that you could get more than a 1-year contract, more than a rev share deal is the way he said it. And I didn't think that was the case. And he said that he had negotiated some 2- and 3-year contracts for some kids. But he said the schools aren't a fan of that.
Maybe that's a one-off, but from what I've seen here locally, everything's a 1-year agreement. As far as I've seen here from the local schools here in North Carolina, no one's signing a 2-year.
Right, the schools are the ones they could. There's nothing that says they can, according to Ryan.
No,
the schools don't. Whatever reason, the schools don't want to.
Well, what's the risk for the school? What's the pro and con? For the pros, you keep them for 2 years, but Nick, they can walk.
Yeah,
it's like the NFL. Okay, yeah, you're under contract, but you're really not. So if you can get more money and I'm transferring here, well, you don't have to pay me that extra $1 million. I'm going to the University of Mississippi, and they're going to pay me $2 million. So it means nothing. It really, for me, from what I see, it means nothing.
Can someone look at our schedule? It's still a work in progress. I know right now the highest rated team we're playing is Bama. Because I know, Paul, you're always talking about the net. How would you think, Paul, our net is? I hear it's improved a little, but you never know but it's based on last year to begin with. So, our net was like 50 something. I don't know. Do you? This is a big thing now to get into the tournament, correct?
Yes. So someplace I read is that they don't calculate the new nets until after some games are played. so that right now we don't have one.
Really?
That's what I read. Now I'm not, it's always been my belief that we started off with a net based on last year and based on impressions. But from what I've read, you start off at 0. Now our schedule, right? The tournament in, I guess, Bahama includes NC State and Wisconsin.
We don't know who the fourth team is.
Still don't know who the fourth team is, right? We have Alabama, Kansas State, and Rutgers. All three of those teams play in Power 4 conferences. Out of conference, I believe that we still have St. Peter's, and I think that we're hosting a team from the Southern Conference.
Charlotte. We got UNC, Greensboro, and Charlotte.
Now I don't know who else from New Jersey. You know, typically Coach Holloway likes to have a couple of teams from driving distance come down to the Prue Center, right?
Well, it is. We have St. Peter's, Wagner, and Mr. Billmeyer at NJIT.
What about Monmouth?
Monmouth is a scrimmage.
I thought they were doing both. I read that somewhere where they said they're going to do the one game where it's kind of at Monmouth, but I read somewhere that they're also coming to the Prudential Center as well, like they do every year.
Right now, that could be because I don't even know. Well, the game at the Palestra, right? That isn't. That I don't know who that is, Paul. Any idea, guys? Because we're playing a game at the Palestra supposedly, but I don't know if it's one of the Big 5 Philly teams.
Yeah, that I don't know either. But I thought that was the scrimmage. I thought the Palestra was a preseason event.
When I looked, it said Monmouth was the scrimmage.
Okay.
Yeah, Monmouth down in Monmouth, Monmouth University. I didn't hear about the
charity game. It's a charity game.
I didn't hear about the Prudential Center. I would have heard it.
Yeah, I don't know where I've read it. Just in the last week, I read because I saw something about Monmouth and they said and coming up to, but it could have been somebody who just assumed. So I'm not sure.
I'll keep an eye on it though.
I don't know. So Paul, what do you think? Is that a better net off? I mean, the thing you got to remember too is we don't know who the fourth team is in the Bahamas. Right now, there's a travel alert, not to scare anybody, but there's a travel alert to the Bahamas. State Department, level 2 travel alert, marauding gangs. Unless you stay right at the facility at the Bahamar, I mean, I wouldn't. We were thinking of going, but what are you going to do, right? You stay at Sandals, you got to get to Bahamar, which I don't know. So who knows?
Wow.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to say. We play our games in Newark.
Yeah, but you know what, guys, I gotta tell you, I worked, and Bill knows this too. I worked in Newark for 40 years. Newark gets a bum rap. I've never had one instance ever. Never had one instance at the Prue Center.
No.
But am I going to go to a country with guys running the street with machine guns? No, I don't. That's a lot different. That's a lot different.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Well, I think that certainly. So part of it is going to depend. I think I think Kansas State is supposed to be better than they were last year.
They can't be worse. That was a disaster.
And that hurt us because we went into their building. We beat them pretty good. They were, they're a Big 12 team, and we expected them to do well enough to keep, and I don't even know if what quad by the time that the season ended. Well, I think that might have been a quad 2 win. It wasn't even a quad 1 win to go into that place and beat them.
It was quad 2. Yep.
And so, and Rutgers, as emotional and as big a game as it has been, last season was a big disappointment for Rutgers. That was another game that didn't end up being the kind of mystique that we had. I think that having Alabama on the schedule is going to be better. I think that having Wisconsin and NC State playing at least one of those two teams is going to help. And I think that, we got to win at the end of the day, we got to win our games. And the one thing I want to impress on everybody who's watching is we need the rest of the Big East to win as well.
You said that last year.
Yeah, I mean, we had, we can't have, Villanova losing to Columbia a couple of years ago, and we need the conference, those games to be big because that improves the entire net for everybody in the conference. Okay, you go and you play St. John's and you lose by 6 at Madison Square Garden, and they've beaten Alabama and Auburn and all those teams that they got beat by last year. It's still very helpful for the net. So we need the rest of the conference to win, and we need the conference to have people talking about the conference, and we need to go into March with everybody thinking that the conference is going to get 7 bids. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves, in the same bubble position that we've been in all along. And I keep going back to that one year with that Mountain West Conference for reasons that surpass my understanding. Everybody decided that conference was great, and they got all the teams. Those were the teams that were the reasons we didn't go that year, because of the Colorado States and Air Forces of the world. And I don't think any of them were around on Saturday. By the way, they all got in the tournament on Thursday, and they were flying home Thursday night. And
that had a lot to do with CBS having rights to the Mountain West, right?
Yeah, well, it didn't hurt. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Tom, not to have you play catch up, but what do you think about our new commissioner and Mrs. Ackerman no longer being or Miss? I don't know if she's Mrs. or Miss.
Oh, how about a breath of fresh air? Breath of fresh air.
Oh my God, you and Bill are hysterical. Bill is similar.
A change needed to be at that guard there. Thank you. Thank you for your whatever she had done, but she never really helped Seton Hall, did she? Did she really help Seton Hall?
No.
Didn't fight for us when we needed it. So we'll see what happens with the new commissioner. We'll see what because just like you said, Nick, all the teams in the Big East have to do well. We can't be losing to these Division 2, 3s. We've got to have a strong conference to show that the ACC that, we can play with the big dogs because we are one of the big dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we talked about this earlier. UConn's one of the premier teams in the country. St. John's is sky's the limit with the vitamin water guy. Nova's got a guy from Italy, right, Paul? It's supposed to be a unicorn. Who knows?
Outstanding.
And Providence, they're vastly improved on paper also, right, Paul?
Yeah, Providence has improved, and Xavier surprisingly has improved. They had a very good portal year. What I've seen, I think that Marquette will be a year better. They're still not going into the portal. The only kid they got out of the portal, believe it or not, is a kid who grew up in Milwaukee who wanted to play for Marquette his whole life. And he went to a school called St. Paul's something or other in the Horizon Conference and was tremendous. So he's basically coming home to the place he always wanted to play for. So I think Marquette is going to be better. I think Xavier is going to be better. I think Providence is going to be better. I think Villanova is going to be really good. I question, believe it or not, UConn. Because UConn seems to be high on 2 kids. One is Najai Hines.
Right.
And I continue that's a case where I'll believe it when I see it. And I didn't see it last year. And the other one is that kid from Duke that Tom knows all about. They're talking about him being a replacement for Alex Caravan. And the kid didn't play that much last year. I don't understand why they believe that this kid is going to be so good. So I think around UConn, there is more hype than there is talent right now. I think St. John's has the kid from Baylor who's really good. They got a point guard from Europe who's going to be good. I could see them being good. And, Villanova's got a 7-foot player from Italy. They've got a mid-major point guard who had a tremendous season. and they got a bunch of kids who shoot 40% from three. So in my mind, I'd be going St. John's, Villanova, UConn, and then start to get into the middle of it.
Oh, you got UConn. You got UConn down. Wow.
Yeah. Well, again, if Najai Hines turns into the guy that the New Haven Register says he is, UConn will be really good. I'm assuming they're going to get the kid we saw last year. 19 and a half minutes a game. No basketball game outside of 12 feet from the hoop. And, we'll see. If this kid all of a sudden is getting the ball at the high post and driving to the basket, or he can step out and make a 20-footer every once in a while, I'll eat my words. But right now, if it's the same kid who's 7 foot away from the basket to be effective, he's not going to be Taris Reed. And then, I'm not sure exactly what UConn's going to do.
I think the thing to look at him first and foremost is his conditioning. Right, Claire and Tom. I think last year that was enough. Right. Okay. And that was Shaw would say, well, why'd you take him out of the game? He was gasping for air. That's why I took him out of the game. So,
I'm sure Bobby's going to get him in shape. I think he'll be prepared physically. I think you're 100% right. I think he's good 7 feet within, but outside that, he has a lot of work to do. He's still a project. I don't see him dropping 20 and 10 every night. I don't see it.
Claire, are you a Hines fan?
I am. It was so exciting that one game when he came out and was just bam, just blocking left and right. And it was very exciting, but then you just never saw anything come out of that. It just, he just never seemed to expand on that or grow from that. And so he's kind of hoping that, okay, this is his freshman year. Let him cut his teeth and then see how he does next year when he's, been playing for a year, has better conditioning, but we'll see.
Bill, let me ask you a question. And I heard this. So Kadari Richmond goes to St. John's.
Okay.
And Rick Pitino is public enemy number one, vilified with Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Najah Hines goes to UConn, and it's like you guys are saying, well, let's see what Danny could do with him. There's not that vitriol. There's not that people aren't upset. Is it a Pitino thing and can you explain that to me?
I think here's what it is. It's Kadari Richmond was one of the premier players at Seton Hall. So he bounced on Seton Hall. Okay? He just bounced. He got more money. He went over to the other side. St. John's, that's what it was. Now, Najai Hines, I thought Najai Hines was a perfect fit for Seton Hall. He's from Plainfield, New Jersey, local guy. That's what Shaw likes to do, local kids. But he just fell out.
But do you think the animosity is toward? I'll ask Paul this. Do you think the animosity is toward Pitino ahead of, is Pitino just that hated rather than Danny? Is that all it is?
I think Pitino is, he's a good coach, no question. But is he hated by the local fans in New York? No. I don't know,
not them.
Not them, but us, Bobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Bobby,
do something.
Bobby, go.
No, I'm setting up my camera.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that hat, Bobby. That's a nice touch.
My new look.
There you go. I love it. Paul, what do you think? Is it a Pitino thing?
So I think part of it is Rick Pitino. Part of it is that St. John's and Seton Hall have been rivals a little bit more. I don't think that we view UConn on the men's side as our biggest rival. I think part of it is that there's a certain ambivalence about Danny. We don't know whether we're supposed to love him or hate him. But I think the most important reason is we're just getting used to this. And when Kadari Richmond did it, a couple of years ago, we weren't used to guys leaving and moving around within the league. It felt more like a betrayal. Now it happens every year. We don't expect guys to stay. And so I think that we're just getting used to the idea that a kid that we recruited and developed and cheered for a year might be on the other, might be somebody we're playing twice or three times in the next season. It might be as simple as that.
Let me throw this question out there, and Claire goes to every game. If Kadari getting booed was a 10, and Willard getting booed was a 5, where is Najee Hines gonna fit in? What do you think? And Claire's gonna be sweet and say a 1, but come on, Claire.
Maybe a 2 or 3. Well, the other thing about Kadari is that he was on our NIT championship team. They had the parade for them, and they had a big party on campus with all the players. Everybody's excited. And people said to Kadari, 1 more year. And he was like, yeah. And then he left. And it was, he was, right from our championship team. And I like to say that Kadari only won 1 national championship with us.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what hurt. And again, it was the first time. All of a sudden, one of our best players jumps and goes to the team that we can't stand the coach. And it was like, wait, what? Where are you going? Go back.
Yeah, don't forget, though, Kadari was asleep that first game in the NIT. He did not want to be there.
You're right.
It makes you wonder if he already had this in his mind already.
Well, guys,
he got into it after that, but that first game was Alamir Dawes and I forgot the name. Kadari was asleep that game. Like, he was out of it.
Yeah, I think he had like 6 points. Mine's some reason that bringing the bell.
We've had so many quality guests on here. I don't remember which guest, but one of our guests, Paul's a better memory than me, basically told us that Kadari didn't want to play in that tournament. And that he sleptwalked the first game, like Bobby eloquently said. And then he woke up when he saw we were on a roll and he played well. But that first game, he was cashing it in. Is that what you thought, Tom?
Definitely. I think the 2 things that you look at Kadari and why he left St. John's, one is I don't think he saw success at Seton Hall. The players were leaving. That's number 1. Number 2, money.
Yeah, money.
I think those 2 things is why he left Seton Hall. 1, he's going to come back to a team that he does not know that has a chance to make the NCAA tournament. And then 2, the money. So where do you try and land? You got Rick Pitino, you got St. John's, you have a good chance to make it. I don't blame him.
No.
I don't love him, but I don't blame him for what he did, because if I'm that player and I'm looking at my team going, well, this guy's a senior, he's gone, Dawes is gone. What am I coming back to? I don't know. So I think from that perspective, that's why. And then I don't know how much he got paid from. He got paid a lot more. So I think it's those 2 things.
$1 million.
Was it $1 million?
Around $1 million,
things have escalated so much since then that now that million would be $5 million, right?
Yeah.
That million would be $5 million.
Yep.
But let me ask you this, Tom, and Bill and Bobby were at the game working it, the Kadari game, so they couldn't boo, and they wouldn't. I don't know if they would boo anyway. Maybe Bobby would boo. I don't know about Bill, but they weren't allowed to show any emotion, or they lose their credentials. Paul, I don't think would boo anybody except maybe Danny Hurley and Gino.
Gino.
You know, Claire and I were both there, and neither one of us. Certainly Claire's not booing Kadari. And
Oh, yes, I did.
What?
I was caught up in the whole.
Oh
By
my God.
the way, real quick, get back to your original question. I just hopped on. As far as Najee Hines is concerned, I don't think he gets booed as much, because don't forget, the enemy we hate the most is St. John's and Rick Pitino. Okay? Until we get to that level that they're at, and I'm not saying who knows how far we are, we could be close, we could be far. I personally see Danny Hurley, again, as a fellow graduate, and if Hines went there instead of St. John's and is going to help them beat St. John's and their bastion of paid mercenaries, then I'm happy for it.
Tom, Thank you, Bobby. That was good. I got a follow up to that. Tom, if you were in the Meadowlands, on Kadari's Richmond return, would Coach Tom O'Brien boo Kadari?
I don't. Like I said, I would not boo him. I wouldn't cheer for him. I would. Based on you guys, you got to look at it at the NIT. He's looking like, well, I don't have a chance to be in the NCAA tournament. I play for Syracuse, and so you got to look at what he's looking at. I really don't have the foundation here for because it was the unknown, right? Who knows what players you're going to get? Well, he saw what St. John's had, and Rick Pitino saying, I got this guy, I got this guy, I got this guy, and we're going to be good. So, then I'm going to go there. I mean, me as a basketball player, I think I would probably do that. A chance to play in the NCAA tournament, to say, and then make $1 million because I wasn't getting that from Seton Hall. But going back to your original question for Hines, I can't boo the kid. I hope he does well. Expectations at UConn for him to come in and start. Again, I don't see a 20-10 in him. I just don't see it. I hope he does well. He may need another year to play in the Big East to take it to that next level. And maybe Bobby sees that. Maybe he has that plan. It's not this year. It's going to be next, or he'll be a Reed at junior year. I don't know. But I hope he does well. I wouldn't boo him. I would boo Pitino for sure, even though he did coach the Boston Celtics a while back.
Well,
sorry, Bobby.
Well, by the way, something to consider. We're talking about if Najai Hines is going to be booed playing at the Prudential Center in that one game. I grew up in Connecticut. Okay, that man better get himself on a treadmill and in the weight room, or he's going to get booed in the Excel Center. And he ain't going to have to worry about us. The UConn fans will boo him plenty.
Yep. Yep.
And don't forget, he's replacing an NBA first-round draft pick.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
18. He averaged 18 points a game and almost 10 boards and 2.5 blocks. He may get the blocks. I don't see the points. Maybe the
and I don't. Yeah, and I think Reed just scratched the surface of his ability. Right. I thought Reed got better as the season went on.
Oh yeah, he peaked at the end for sure. He definitely did.
Yeah, he was a second-round draft pick that all of a sudden, because of his play going up to the finals, he elevated himself to a first-round draft pick.
Yep.
So speaking of booing and players and everything, Mr. Hurley will not come to the Rock anymore because he says the fans give him a hard time. Now I'll never forget Annette and I when Nick was a manager, and we were close to the players. We went to Providence, sat a couple of rows behind the Seton Hall bench. But we were all around Providence fans, and Angel was getting such a hard time. I had to keep my wife in her seat. Like, this is their building. So they weren't giving us a hard time, but she was getting aggravated because they were giving Angel a hard time. And it was inappropriate stuff, but life on the road. Do you think – so I don't know Hines' family, but according to Stackhouse, they're at every game. They're easily going to come to the Rock. And it's going to be hard, right, when people start – because people are going to say stuff. Poor Mr. Volpe couldn't go to a Yankee game anymore without fighting with a fan because they're all getting on his son. But you have to have really thick skin. Or should Seton Hall just kind of like do some – or UConn where they say, you're up in a luxury box because we don't – because we're just having the wherewithal to kind of stop this. Because people are going to be stupid, right? Like, no matter what.
Yeah.
Anybody?
I don't think we're going to put them in a box.
But I mean, the fact that Mr. Hurley says he can't go to a game because fans yell at him, right? Like, no.
I think he's always had an attitude to begin with.
Oh my God, you guys! Oh my God.
I think Hurley. You're talking about the father, right?
Mr. Hurley, yes.
Yeah, I mean, come on, get over it. I mean, you're a coach. You're a former high school coach, a legend, and you're crying about the Seton Hall fans. Are you kidding me?
Well, wait.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here, Nick? Go ahead.
You got to understand, they're human beings too. We were
exactly.
at a tournament in Orlando a few years back, and the Seton Hall fans were getting on Willard so bad that Miss Willard had to get up and go sit in the back. And my wife had to get up and go sit in the back because it's just, I don't know. I mean,
it gets intense. It gets intense. He's a good coach.
If your son was playing a game and a bunch of idiots, I'm sorry, are yelling, like, wouldn't it, it's hard not, you're a human being, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So,
yep.
So, I mean, Mr. Hurley, say what you want, but he's a human being.
So, Nick, I think there's a difference between a fan confronting the parent of a player or the parent of a coach directly and the parent of the coach just getting upset with what's being shouted at the player or the coach.
Right.
If people are going up to old man Hurley and saying things to him about Danny, that's absolutely wrong. Yep. But if he's sitting in the stands and people are screaming at his son because his son is an opposing coach, that's a sport. That's the way it is. And you have to be able to deal with the fact that that's going to go on at this level. Now, again, I'm with Tom. I'm not going to put him in a box. If he wants to buy a box, I think, I'm sure that the Hurley family has enough money to buy themselves a nice little spot at the Prue Center for a game if they want to. But, I don't think it's reasonable to say, hey, I can't shout out things about Danny Hurley because his wife is sitting over there or his mother is sitting over there. I paid $200 for my ticket. I'm going to shout out whatever I want to.
Wasn't there like an incident at one of I think it was at Big East. It was St. John's and UConn. At the Garden, and they removed the fan because he was heckling Bettino. He got into an argument with Bettino. Bobby, I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I think I was at that game. It was St. John's in Connecticut. And I don't know if it was in a Big East game, but a fan got removed from where he was sitting on the floor because he was shouting at Hurley.
But here's what I don't get. In the last few years, and Tom's a coach, I have seen officials throw out fans for yelling at officials. Come on. Yep. Come on, you guys see it where you sit, right?
Oh.
And mean, so can an official throw out a fan for yelling at Danny Hurley, like dropping F-bombs in it? Like, where do you draw the line? I don't know.
Well, I'm still going to bring my Brian Caver was better sign. Okay, and I hope Mr. Hurley Sr. doesn't get upset with that. But I'm still bringing my Brian.
Remember what our leader, Bobby Blackjack, has always said, and when it happens, I hope I'm alive. Bobby said Danny Hurley will be coaching the Pirates someday, right, Bobby? Yeah.
I mean, he can stay at UConn forever. He's going to get into a losing streak eventually, and they're going to say, "Hey, you know what? We want the next big thing." And then hopefully if the timing's right and he comes back and wins the championship, we'll build him a statue outside next to the Pirate, and we'll be all right.
Well, Bobby, I think what you said was that the road for Hurley to South Orange runs through the NBA. And I think you're right.
I think you're right, Paul. He's mentioned again this offseason about a thirst of wanting to coach in the NBA.
I mean, if I could paint this picture, I could imagine UConn deciding that they want to leave the Big East again and go join the Big 12 because their football team beat Army and UMass, so now they're ready to play Oklahoma. Okay, and him having trouble recruiting because of the, it would be a great schedule, but it would be a much more difficult recruiting effort if he's playing Kansas and Baylor and Houston instead of St. John's and Seton Hall and Providence. And I could see under that conditions where he says, hey, look, I'm the premier sport at this conference of this school. Me and the women's team, you're screwing up everything for football. I'm out of here. And if he goes to the NBA, NBA coaches are hired to be fired. And so we could imagine he may win an NBA championship, but after 5 or 6 years, he'll have worn out his welcome. That's just the nature of it. At which point, Seton Hall might be ready to hire him. So I could see something like that happening over the next decade. And to me, that would be the most likely way to get him here. But, by then, Coach Holloway may have won 3 national championships. We may be perfectly happy with the coach we got.
Well, he signed an extension, so for a while, but you never know. Like Tom said, sometimes contracts aren't worth the paper they're written on.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Tom, is that really you on the green with the crowd behind you?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't qualify. But I made
the picture though. You got the opportunity. You got the photo op.
Yeah. I made a 40-foot putt on the 18th hole, and the place went crazy. And then I ran around, and yeah, it was fun.
Tom, how do you, when you do something like that, do you play it cool? Like, okay, not a big deal. Like you've done it before. Are you like, yes?
No. I wish I had the video. No, because it was hot as hell. People were there watching, and here's that 40-foot putt, and it drops. Okay,
wow.
It drops. Okay, I knew I wasn't. That's it. That's it for me. And everyone.
It's great.
It was great. It was awesome.
Well, we had Claire's nephew on, who was great, Justin. He was a manager of St. Peter's, and I asked him the question about when Bobby's guy, Dougie Baskets, Doug Eggert, hopped on a scorer's table after they won a game in the NCAA tournament, and Shastley was on a scorer's table and gave him a look of death, the stare of death, and act like you've done it before. But I could see, I could see both ways. I could totally see both ways.
Nick, there's 7 seconds left. It's a playoff game this past year.
Right.
I did a Jimmy Valvano.
Oh my God.
So it's Saturday morning. There's not a lot of people there. We needed to score a basket. The kid threw a pass half court, drove all the way down, scores on the buzzer. I didn't know who to hug. It was like their friends were on watching the thing. I'm jumping with the kids, and I'm like a kid. We won. I mean,
yeah.
It is. It's so rewarding. But I've been on the flip side where we missed that, or damn, and it's all right. Next year was next year. So.
I always said, coaching and watching sports, that if I ever won a championship, I was going to be like Herb Brooks, just walk off the court and let the kids celebrate. And then I won a championship, and I did the exact opposite. So yeah, you can say whatever you want, but in the heat of the moment, again, we're all human beings, right?
Yeah. One last thing, Nick, I know we're coming to an end here. Bobby, this Saturday, 8:00, I was going to text you, 8:00, the Dallas Cowboys are playing on national TV. It's going to be a highly rated game. So I wanted to let you know it starts at 8:00. The preseason starts tomorrow. Tomorrow night or Thursday night. Who's that? I can't even see.
That's a Lawrence Taylor signed card I got in a box I picked up 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Well, listen, the Cowboys are on. Give yourself an opportunity to get a nice dinner, sit home, watch the Cowboys for the first quarter, see what's going to happen. And then, hopefully you guys can see how good they're going to be. I'm praying. But I'm excited that college basketball is under 90 days. We got a lot of interesting things that are going to happen over these next 90 days. Hopefully, Nick and Paul, you said this, is staying healthy. They got to stay healthy and get in shape.
So since we're showing off cards, Jalen Brunson rookie card, okay? Thank you. My son got it from me. Bobby, $2.95. So there you go.
Nice.
Tyler Kolek rookie card, $1.95.
I have a signed card by him somewhere here.
So on two things, and I'm always thinking, and I'm always thinking about the show. So college basketball starts November the 2nd, right? The first game is 12:01, High Point versus Liberty. Bobby said, I can't do these 7 o'clock shows. Said, okay.
In the summer.
Well, we're gonna do what you wanted to do, a quote unquote simulcast of that first game at a 12:01 show at night. We might have 3 insomniacs watching us, but I'll do it. I know Bill will be with me. So we're gonna do that. Because Tom Eccles loves whatever we do. So we're gonna do that.
We got to do the Notre Dame postgame shows this year. I'll tell you, they're winning the national championship, right, Tom? Notre Dame is winning the chip this year.
Well, they're picking Miami. Everyone's picking Miami, but
we play them at home though. We get them at home this year.
Yes, we do. So let's. I'm not going to predict anything. You know, the first 5 games when we last year, we lost to a mid-major there, and I'm like, what the? Well, whatever.
Fun tour.
So we'll see.
Oh, by the way, Tom, I expect a nice report of Charlotte before we play them in Philadelphia, in the early part of the season.
So Mr. Hathaway, who we all love, is pretty big on getting credentials. He's going to the Jets opening game. He's covering the Jets.
Preseason. Preseason, Thursday, Friday.
Bobby, my friend is a Nova alumnus. Not a big donor, decent donor. Opening game, Nova, Notre Dame in Rome, and part of the trip, you get a intimate meeting with the Pope.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know if he was going to pull a trigger and go, but yeah, pretty. So Bill, if you want to get credentials for that, I don't know how you can pull that one off, but
I don't know if I can pull that
anybody at Nova.
I don't know about that one.
I tell you, Jets are the hardest team to get credentials for, Bill.
Why?
Oh, okay.
No, they're not. You're making them feel good.
I've tried for years. I met at that time. I met the guy who was running their media department at a tour of MetLife Stadium on the 50-yard line. He knew who I was. Applied for credentials after that, and still got declined.
Patrick Campbell.
The Jets, Bruce Spite.
Okay.
He's in anymore. The Jets are very tight-lipped with their media. Like if you watch the Jet game, you'll see it, Bill. They are going to hover over people, especially somebody who's new, and make sure they're not asking questions that shouldn't be asked. And if they do, they'll pull the play right from you.
Wow.
Jets are very tight-lipped that way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So football's coming, baby. Football's coming.
Yeah.
Go Giants.
Okay, we're at it an hour 47, and again, it feels like 10 minutes.
Yep.
Miss McDowell, thank you so much for getting your nephew on. And your nephew had a beautiful 4-month-old baby, and that
wish him luck with the baby.
That was
Claire.
the highlight. That was the highlight of our show. So Claire, final thoughts.
Well, everybody cheers when I get my double bogey, so I understand where Tom's coming from. Today was a rough day to be out on the course. I'm just really looking forward to. I can't wait till the schedule comes out because my daughter lives in Chicago, so we're planning on trying. Me flying out and going to a game together out there, whether it be DePaul or if we go to Indianapolis or something. But I can't wait for the schedule. I can't wait for the preseason meet and greet. I'm excited, especially after meeting those guys at just before TBT. They seem like a great group. They seem really excited to be Pirates, and I can't wait to watch the whole season.
Coach O'Brien, final thoughts.
No, we're all excited. We, it's kind of a lull here. Baseball, kind of, a grind watching. I'm not a big baseball guy, but we got the NFL kicking off here. We still want to know who we're going to get. Bobby, I know you came in a little late here. We got two spots on the team. There's guys that are still out there that we can definitely get. I'm anxious to see because I don't want to wait until mid-September. You want to get it locked and loaded in August. So I'm hoping that between now and the next couple weeks, we get those 2 spots that we can go out and get some quality players to contribute. So I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited to watch the Dallas Cowboys here Saturday at 8 o'clock.
You guys mention Duke Brennan at all during the show?
Willard doesn't want him. Or no. No,
Yeah,
he doesn't. He wouldn't start because of Paul's Italian guy.
Because here's the interesting part of it, real quick. He's on the Nets radar as an Exhibit 10 possible G League guy, right? Because I read that. Because I read all the Nets stuff all the time. But he's gonna make more money coming back and playing, college basketball for one more year.
The two-way contract is like $200,000, right?
Yeah,
it's nothing crazy.
He's gonna blow that away with the NIL.
Right. So that's why these guys are. Yeah, exactly. So for the head of the NCAA to call them failed professional, that's not really true, because they can make more here than. Yeah.
By the way, we need to hire a forensic accountant for our crew. Because I want to know how much money does Kadari have left? How much money does Bud Clark have left in the bank after taking these checks and running? Because they got all these street agents attached to them, and
well, that's what Ryan said. Ryan said 20%, right? And that's just right off the top. And then you're an independent contractor. You're not having federal withholding. You're not having Social Security. You're not having Medicaid. You got to do all that yourself. Out of your payments to the go. So yeah, and you can write off expenses, but what expenses they have, I don't know. So yeah.
One more thing, Bill.
Yeah.
How did we not get invited to the Seton Hall Summer Media Throng last week?
I didn't know anything about it. I really didn't know.
Well, neither did I, because we weren't invited.
I know. I didn't get no email, no nothing.
But I only think a few people were invited.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. If Jaden Daly is getting on that call, we're above Jaden Daly now.
Wait, who?
Well, like it is. We're above Jaden Daly right now.
Oh, Jaden Daly got invited? No.
Yes.
Really?
If he's getting invited, we should be invited.
I know
Exactly.
Zags. I know Zags, and I know Camino.
Of course.
Zags, you can't argue about that.
No, the ledge or whatever. But if Jaden Daly's getting invited to this call, we should be on that call.
Wow.
Yep.
Damn St. John guys. Oh, by the way, quick announcement. My final announcement. I was watching the show, then I got a quick phone call. I finally got starting. Just got the phone call today about a half hour ago. I will be starting DJing every Friday night at a hotel in Times Square.
Whoa! We got it.
Friday night.
Let us know when you want to promote it.
Yeah, they want me to start this Friday, but I may go up to the resort for the day and see my friends. But definitely starting next Friday at the
congratulations,
the Marriott in Times Square. I'll be DJing every Friday.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Every Friday. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So thank God.
What time is that? Like 11 to 4?
No, I think it's like a happy hour thing, like 4 to 7, 4 to 8, something like that, 5 to 8. Yeah.
Oh.
So it'd be like that. It'd be a nice cool time to get in and out.
Oh, let us know. I would consider doing that. Wow.
Road trip.
Road trip. I know exactly.
Nick Carr.
I'm excited. It's
I know the DJ.
The city's a whole different animal.
Yep.
Bill, final thoughts.
Great show tonight. So, Tom, are you saying about the Cowboys on Saturday? We're watching New York Giants play Minnesota at 7:30 on NBC.
I didn't realize
NBC.
They're going to put that on TV. They put that on
NBC.
I don't watch NBC. I didn't realize.
We're on national TV too.
I thought maybe FS1, but okay.
You realize that the NFL is the only game. I know for me as a big super sports fan, Paul might be the same way. NFL is the only sport where you can watch literally any team play and not care what you're watching.
Yeah.
Like I'm not watching some random baseball game if it's not the Yankees or the Marlins or somebody or the Pirates. I'm not watching maybe college basketball sometimes at night. I'll have it on the background. But NFL is the only one. College football maybe, but there's some really boring matchups out there. But NFL is the only sport where it could be the worst two teams in the league, but you're watching, and you're watching it intently because it's NFL.
They have another game tomorrow, right? The NFL tomorrow night, right, Tom?
Thursday.
They got to get on tomorrow night.
Thursday night. Yep.
You
got to prep for your fantasy teams. Anybody needs any fantasy advice? I'm the guru. Let me know. We'll talk about it.
Bobby, I just did my 4th draft on Yahoo, and I'm told that Yahoo isn't real, and little kids do Yahoo, and I got an A+ in my grade, so I don't know if I did.
4th draft. practice draft or real draft?
No, my fourth team.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I'm retired. I have time.
We should do one. We should do one with the group right
that
here.
would be pretty cool.
Right.
I'm in for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it. Let's do it.
Out.
Paul, what do you think, Paul?
I don't know. I've never been good at any of that stuff.
Me neither.
We used to have a fantasy baseball team, and I don't think that I ever won a game in it. So I kind of gave up on that a while back.
Is work. Like that's work. You have to do that every day. Fantasy football isn't as much work.
Nope.
Well,
all right, we got
Yeah.
the president of the Bobby Guarente fan club.
I got in Italy. That's why now.
Oh, speaking of that, so her buddy, Ryan T. Luigi, I can't, he gives me all these blackout dates. Can't come on the show. I'm going to Spain. I'm going to Italy. I'm going to wherever. And then he's on the show with that other guy, Brandon, Bill's buddy, Brandon. So come on, Luigi. Know where we are on the pecking order.
Damn.
He gave me blackout dates. I can't be on your show this date, that date, and that date. Meanwhile, I flip it on and leave Scoop alone, please. He's running all over Italy, posting pictures everywhere.
All right, Nick, final thoughts. Take us away.
Well, Paul hasn't gone. Paul.
Oh, Paul.
Well, I just have to say that as great as Ryan was and as great as the conversation's been all summer, I am really looking forward to talking about players and zone defenses and matchups and that kind of stuff rather than talking about money and NIL. I'm ready to talk about basketball.
Here. I can't wait. And the amazing thing, though, you're right, that we got through the season ended in March, and we've had a show every week, and we're getting people a lot. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah. Again, I'm blessed to have this crew. You guys are amazing. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Tom Eccles, Patrick Min, love you. Christina, thank you for all that you do when you're on, and hopefully you'll be on more. And Eli, you don't get this. Eli does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. Gets the link for us in a timely manner every week. So, and Eli's getting a lot more. It looks like a lot more time on WSOU. So good for him. Bobby, final thoughts.
Yeah, Mr. Hathaway, capitalize that T, please.
What? Why are you picking on Bill Hathaway?
I like my punctuation proper. Capitalize that T.
I want to know if Bill Hathaway is wearing that shirt to the Giant. Are you wearing that shirt to the Giant game, to the Jet game?
It's green.
No,
why not?
No. I might.
Oh, by the way, real quick, right about the time the phone call came in, where did Juan Rivera end up?
Oh, I messed up too. I called him Juan Rivera too.
Or Josh Rivera.
The Yankee outfielder. No, it's not the Yankee outfielder. It's Josh Rivera. I got it in my notes. Texas. No, not
Tennessee.
Texas.
Oh, is it Tennessee State?
Tennessee. Yeah. Is that right, Paul?
Josh Rivera.
I think it was Tennessee State.
Tennessee State. Yes.
What I hear is our guy's pretty coveted, so our big guy that everybody wants back.
Stephon Payne.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's out there. He would be a great get.
But what about Sumanik? Anyway,
Sumanik isn't in the portal. Sumanik is not in the portal.
Talk about taking
We also have to
bag of
check
money
to
and
see
just
how
like,
old. Sumanik's old though too. We have to see how old he is.
That might be.
He may
I
have
forgot
aged
about
out.
that. That's right. That's right.
By the way, if you want to have, before we sign off, if you want to have a quick laugh, go on Facebook or social media. Check out the women's team. They did like a question Q&A session. But the question was, what would you change about myself or something? And all the girls, they responded in the most hilarious way. So check that out if you want a quick laugh in this summer night.
Yep.
All right. Great job, guys.
All right.
We'll plan for next week in a few days.
Yep.
Claire's got another guest. Claire's getting Claire the Booker, getting us all these guests, great guests. And yeah. So, oh, Bobby, did you hear us that Coach Lowry is gone and
Yes.
Donald Copeland is in line? Maybe. So I know you're a Donald Copeland guy.
No, I think he's from. I'm mistaken, he's from Patterson, right next over the river here. So, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think he's a Patterson Catholic guy. Not mistaken. I could be wrong about
Coach
that.
Lowry?
No, Donald Copeland.
Oh, I don't know, but yeah.
Well, if it is, it's a way of saving his.
He played at St. Anthony's for Mr. Hurley, you know.
No, that's right. You're right. But it's a way. I guess it's a way of him to get to rehabilitate his image and his reputation and get back at it.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. We're Catholic.
And Catholic schools are about forgiveness, right? Absolutely.
All right, we're off.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.